Welcome back to AM Northwest. It's a dish made for summer. Here to share a recipe from vegetarian dinner parties, we welcome back the co-authors of nearly 40 cookbooks, Bruce Weinstein and Mark Scarbrough. Good to see you guys. It's so incredible that you guys have written now 39 cookbooks.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
It is what we do. We put our heads down and we work.
That's
and
awesome.
Not only that, on top of those cookbooks, Mark's memoir was published 2 years ago, and I've written 2 knitting books.
True. No way, really? And then, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I don't know. Okay, let's get to this because it is a great dish for summer, you say.
It is.
Okay, so
I can't wait. First of all, though, I can't wait to read Mark's memoir. That I gotta say that.
Well, that's a whole thing in and of itself. My mother still hasn't read it, so that'll tell you something. So,
I understand that totally.
So we're making a watermelon panzanella salad, and panzanella salad is basically traditionally in Italy a salad you make with old stale bread
and tomatoes.
Okay.
And you toss old stale bread in with tomatoes and dressing. The bread softens up, but we made it a little more interesting, a little more delicious, and we're substituting watermelon for half the tomatoes.
Okay.
So you go to the supermarket and you look at a watermelon, and how do you find the best watermelon?
How?
Okay, here it is. This spot right here is called the belly spot. And what you want to look for is a bright yellow belly spot that has defined edges, not white and not brown, but yellow belly spot. And then once you find ones with a yellow belly spot, pick them up. And as they say in the industry, it needs to be heavy, like me, heavy to the hand. So it needs to be heavy to the hand.
Okay.
And that's got to be the juiciest, sweetest one with the yellow belly spot.
If it has no belly spot, and they call it that because, of course, that's what sits on the ground, and the sun doesn't hit that, right? So the belly.
Oh, I see.
And if it's all green, not good. You want to get one with the best. Mark's had a belly spot and yellow.
Okay.
And cut it up. That's what we did. And we're going to dump some chopped up watermelon in our bowl. And then tomatoes.
Well, I mean, it is a panzanella salad, right? So we feel like we have to be at least true to something to avoid being, inundated with ads on social media.
Let me show you something about tomatoes.
Okay.
Tomatoes, if you cut them open, I'm going to cut this tomato open to show you. You've got a lot of wet, gooey seed stuff inside here, right? That is going to make your dressing watery. So cut that out.
Okay. And what about the seeds in the watermelon?
But we bought a seedless watermelon. Okay. And there's so much juice in the watermelon, I don't want this slimy seed stuff and the tomatoes in there. So that's how you prep your tomatoes before you cut them up.
I'm compassionate to seedless watermelons because they're childless like I am. They can't have children. So...
Well, your children are your books.
Yeah.
Our dog is.
And your dog. Let's see Nosh again. There's Nosh.
There's
Can
Nosh
you see
on
Nosh?
the floor.
Yeah.
He's our 6-year-old collie.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Okay, so tomatoes, watermelon, and then a lot of cucumber.
Yum.
And we use the seedless cucumber just because it gives you more cucumber per square bit. But fine.
Red onion, because I love red onions. You can use shallot if you don't like red onions.
And capers. So this is going to give it kind of that little bit of acidic, slightly Mediterranean feel, some salt and pepper, right?
Yep, salt and pepper.
And
here's the fun thing. You don't even need olive oil. We're just going to put some white balsamic vinegar and mix together with the juices of the tomatoes and the vinegar. This is going to make the only dressing we need. There is olive oil. It's on the bread. Let's toss this together, and then we'll talk about the bread, because you have to have bread if it's a panzanella, right? So rather than use old stale bread, I bought a really nice country bread, and Mark's got some slices on the other side of him. We grilled them. This way they're going to be nice and crunchy, and watch what he's doing. My favorite kitchen tools, scissors.
Yeah.
And he's going to cut this bread up into chunks and bits.
Yeah.
And he's going to put it there. Now, if you're making this salad at home, you can make it up to the point with the bread ahead of time, like even that morning, because it'll just get even more delicious with the capers and vinegar. Don't put the bread into the last minute. because you don't want the bread to soften too much. You still want it to be a bit crunchy, a bit crispy. It will soak up some of that dressing, but you want some of the, I love scissors.
This feels like a sweatshop. I feel like
We're in Southeast Asia.
I
right
will
now.
agree with you. I think the scissors is something I use quite a bit when it comes to even just cutting up food. Yeah.
I am
No,
so glad
right?
to hear that because most people don't know that.
Yeah.
And a pair of kitchen shears is the best thing to mix that up. And I'm going to
You know,
grab a
You
little
want
bit of
another tip about a kitchen trick that no one thinks about?
what's that?
What?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You know how to, like if you eat cheesy Doritos or Fritos and it gets all over your fingers,
Yeah.
right? Eat them with chopsticks.
Oh, there
Seriously.
you go.
Sit in front of your TV with a bag of Cheetos and chopsticks.
Right.
And you can eat them all without messing up your fingers. I got to dig in and try this because,
So you want to save this bread till the last second
and then what's that?
so
Throwing
that
it.
it's, yeah, all right, we're going to get it. So it's nice and crunchy. And then I've got some basil. And this is a great time of year to remember this. The basil in your supermarket is super expensive.
Yeah.
It's always super expensive. I bought this at a garden center for $2.49. So,
Oh,
It's
perfect.
fresher than you're going to get in the supermarket.
Yeah.
right.
And this way I could even put it back on the windowsill behind me. It'll grow some more leaves over the next couple of weeks. And I love having a little kitchen pot of basil.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful thing. And
Even if you're only going to use it once, to buy $2.49, to spend $2.49 on a pot of thyme rather than however much it costs at the grocery
Yeah.
store.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't tell you the smell of just tearing that basil
Love
up.
it.
It's
Love
heavenly.
it. Oh my gosh.
my
And it's
goodness,
ready
I
to
gotta
go. Ready to eat right then. Oh, that's awesome.
You have to make this, Helen.
I'm going
Get your
to.
scissor out.
I'm going to.
Get some good watermelon with a belly spot.
Yeah.
No, no, you got to eat it.
Yeah.
I love panzanella. The recipe that we sent that's up on your website actually calls for yellow tomatoes. Sadly, my supermarket didn't have any. It's even more beautiful if you use yellow tomatoes instead of the red.
Gotcha.
And if you're lucky enough to find yellow watermelon, go for that.
Perfect, perfect. We want to tell everyone we'll put the recipe on our website, as he just said. And the book again is titled Vegetarian Dinner Parties. Bruce and Mark, oh, and Nosh, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you,
Thank
Ellen.
you. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.